My guest tonight is a remarkable Chicagoan. Pete Brown is the grandson of legendary sports writer Warren Brown, who was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame and left an indelible mark on the way we tell stories about America's pastime. Pete has carved out his own legacy in the world of finance. He founded XFA Financial, now the largest floor broker on the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, after an earlier career at Merrill Lynch. He's also the chairman of the board at Jackson Partners, working alongside retired superstar Bo Jackson. Beyond business, Pete is a Mulliganeer and serves on the board of this great Chicago charity, which helps children and families in need. His passion for giving back grew even stronger when his own daughter battled cancer as a teenager. She's a survivor today, thanks in part to the work of St. Jude's, and Pete has carried out that spirit of hope into his work with the Mulliganeers. With the annual Mulliganeers golf outing coming up on September 19th, we're thrilled to have him here. Pete Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Patty. It's going to be a fun night. We're going to cover a lot of ground, and we got a lot of things to show the people, and hopefully we'll drum up a little bit of support for Mulliganeers. And
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to telling the story about how it all came to be.
Now, I have to reveal that I was a childhood pal and high school friend of your son Kevin's. And so I've known of your name. We've met in passing throughout the years.
Yep.
But I think this is the first time I've actually had an opportunity to sit down and hear the story. Kevin did not tell me any of this about you. He's a very humble guy.
Yes, he is.
I had no idea that his great-grandfather was in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which is wild.
Yeah, it really is when you think back.
I want to start really with your childhood upbringing. Where did you grow up?
We grew up in the St. Angela.
On the west side of
West
Chicago.
Side in the Austin neighborhood.
Okay.
It was a great parish in its heyday. Monsignor Daniel Cunningham was the pastor, and Monsignor Cunningham had been the superintendent of the Catholic school, but he'd always bring in Irish priests. We had Father Ryan, O'Brien, McGovern.
Yeah.
And one of the times, later in his career, he brought in an Italian guy, Father Zanoni. Everybody in the neighborhood's like, the old man's losing it. What's he doing bringing an Italian in here? But we always had Notre Dame football players.
Yes.
Work because he was the chaplain for Notre Dame's football team.
Okay.
So we'd have Notre Dame football players always coming every summer to cut grass, paint,
sure,
do whatever. So it was pretty cool to see these football players walking around St. Angela grounds.
Right. And you're you're a Quincy man. You're in Quincy's Hall of Fame, I believe. But you guys have always had an affinity for Notre Dame. Growing up, Kevin was a big Notre Dame guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, my dad, two of my uncles were swimmers. My dad went there in 1946 after a great career at Fenwick.
Played football there?
Yep, they won the city championship. My dad was an all-state football player, highly recruited, but chose to go to Notre Dame with Frank Leahy. And the 4 years Dad was at Notre Dame, they lost one game, tied one game.
Yeah.
But after his sophomore year, he found out that my mom was dating.
Yeah.
And he and my mom had been sweethearts.
Yes.
And my dad was third-string quarterback,
yep,
back behind Johnny Lujak.
Yep.
Ralph Guglielmi played with Leon Hart.
Yes.
And Dad was like, I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm not losing this woman, over a football career. So it was a love story from the beginning.
Yeah.
But my dad had his first heart attack when he was 37 years old.
Whoa.
And I always tell the story. I gave his eulogy with my brother Mike, and it was the very first day that the Pope had ever come to America in 1965.
Okay.
Dad has his first heart attack.
Grabber, yeah.
So the fourth one did him in just 2 days shy of his 74th birthday.
All right.
But he got a lot more out of life than,
most.
Never had a lot of money, but he worked hard, provided for the family, loved to cook for the kids and the grandkids. Like I said, he wasn't a man of wealth.
And was close to his own dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as close as you could, Patty.
In those days.
Grandpa was on the road.
Your grandfather was a celebrity.
He was a celebrity.
Warren Brown. Let's get to him for a minute.
Yeah. Grandpa traveled in different circles. He started out in California. He went to St. Ignatius University, which is now University of San Francisco.
The Dons.
While out there, While out there, he could have either gone the path of being a pro baseball player or becoming a newspaper guy.
Mm-hmm.
He went in, he met with William Randolph Hearst. Hearst made him an offer. Grandpa figured it was a better long-term program to become a writer than it was to be a Major League Baseball player. And it was out there that he became great friends with Jack Dempsey and Gene Tunney, the heavyweight boxing champs. So Grandpa Hearst asked him to go to New York to be the sports editor at the New York paper. I can't remember what the name was.
And that's where his career really took off.
But he didn't stay there long.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. He wasn't a big fan of New York, but while he was in New York, he hired a fellow by the name of Ed Sullivan
Yeah.
as a copy boy.
I mean, you can't
Ed went on to a few better things than
He did
writing
okay for
newspaper
himself.
articles. Yeah, he did okay for himself. But Grandpa and Ed Sullivan remained
lifelong friends.
lifelong friends,
Yes.
you know.
And was that something that you guys were made aware of as in your own childhood? Was your dad ever talking about, like, that Grandpa knows all these guys?
No, not really. You know, I mean,
Interesting.
It was pretty cool though, Patty, because my mom's dad was a police captain in Chicago, Tom Kelly.
Heroes in their own right.
So whenever we'd have Thanksgiving or Christmas, my uncles would everybody sit around and listen to these two men.
The cop stories,
The cop
and then the
stories
sports
with
stories.
Capone and
Yeah.
then the sports stories with Grandpa.
Wow.
Uncles, kids, you never uttered a word
Yeah.
when these men were talking.
Yep.
But Grandpa lived with us for a short period, and Vec and Bill Gleason would come over to the house.
Loved Bill Gleason. Vec was great too.
Yeah, Bill Gleason did a eulogy at Grandpa's funeral.
Did he really?
He loved my grandfather.
So I was a bartender at Kevel's in Forest Park.
Oh yeah,
And Gleason used to come in and sit at the bar.
yeah,
And we would BS forever.
Oh, yeah.
And this was when he was in his late 80s.
yeah. No, great man.
Absolute
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, we had a family reunion a number of years ago. My dad was still alive. Uncle Bill was still alive. And Gleason came and spent the whole weekend with us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then we had tickets for the Sox game. We all went out to the picnic area on Sunday. There was probably about 40 of us that my cousin Judy organized. She's the oldest out of the Browns.
Yep. Bill Gleason was like the last of the kind of Warren Brown cut
Yeah.
of sports writers where the players liked him. He could get insider stories.
Yeah.
And the fans liked him too,
Yeah.
where they would kind of, he had the real skinny on every angle of what was happening in the zeitgeist of sports.
Yeah, I always thought back, Patty, how cool it would have been if the sports writers show with Gleason and
Had Warren on there?
Yeah, if Grandpa had been around for that.
Was he a colorful character like
Oh,
those
yeah.
guys?
Yeah, big time. I mean,
Okay.
he was probably one of the most sought after speakers on after dinner circuit.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the Toastmaster for almost every baseball banquet in Chicago. Jack Brickhouse, whenever there was a rain delay at a Sox or a Cub game, Warren was the first one he came to grab to tell stories, during the rain delays. He'd have him on the 10th inning. I have a CD, just to show you, Patty, what circles this man walked in.
Mm-hmm.
I have a CD that I stumbled across a number of years ago, and Grandpa was a comedy writer for Bing Crosby.
Wrote jokes for him and Bob Hope.
Correct.
Yes.
So I have a CD of Grandpa being on the Kraft radio show. It was Bing Crosby, Hank Greenberg from the Detroit Tigers,
Yeah.
Groucho Marx, and Grandpa.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about walking in different circles.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the thing with Groucho Marx. I'm like, how the hell did Grandpa know Groucho Marx, for God's sake?
Well, look at Euchre and the guys that came after him.
Yeah.
That crossed over into sports, into comedy.
Yeah.
How did Warren's Hall of Fame legacy kind of shape your outlook? I mean, those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah. No, I never really thought about getting into writing. I worked in high school and college for my uncle John Weston down at the Board of Trade.
That's what spawned your career in the markets
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Uncle John was a soybean broker.
What year was that?
Oh, well, Uncle John was down there for a long time,
Yeah.
but I clerked for him for a couple of years in high school.
All right.
And Patty, back then, soybeans open at 9:30. You're done at 1:15.
Yeah.
You make a hell of a lot of money. I'm like, I could get used to this.
Sure.
So-
especially all the characters that existed on the floor.
A lot of characters.
One of the last places on earth that a guy who came from nothing could walk out a millionaire the next day.
No college degree. Probably didn't even need much high school.
No, you needed street smarts though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's all. It just kind of got in my blood after I graduated from Quincy
Went back.
in 1976.
Yeah.
And I went to the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange, got hired as a clerk, kept moving around.
Yeah.
Went to work for E.F. Hutton at the Board of Trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became a stockbroker, account executive, if you will.
Yes.
2 years with Smith Barney, 2 years with Merrill.
Yeah.
And at the end of my fourth year of doing that, it was at the height of the Carter presidency.
Yeah.
The Dow Jones was at 600.
Yep.
Money markets were paying 19%. I mean, you could barely even get anybody to even talk stocks.
Yes.
So I called my cousin Tom Brady.
Mr. Biggs.
Mr. Big.
Shout out to Mr. Big. Great guy.
That great guy. So I
Great
called
West
Tommy.
Sider.
Tommy was working for Merrill.
Yeah.
I said, Tommy, they're about ready to launch me off the 55th floor in the Sears Tower.
Yeah.
You got to get me back to the SIBO.
Yeah.
So Tommy got me a job. I started clerking for Merrill. And within 9 months, I was on a seat filling orders for Merrill Lynch and
At CBOE.
CBOE.
And you had a long, illustrious career with Merrill Lynch.
Yeah, I had a good 20-year run with Merrill, and then they were offering a early retirement plan. I was approached by three fellows at the Mercantile Exchange.
Yeah.
They had an operation at the S&P at the Merc. They wanted to start something at the SIBO. XFA. So we partnered up and, got that thing up and running and
Wildly successful.
And, I owe a great deal to my three partners, Danny Lynham, Pete Scheffler, Tim Hendricks, for giving me the opportunity to run with it. But but it all comes down to one thing, Patty.
Yeah.
Your name, your reputation is all you've got down in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
People trusted me. They knew I wasn't a BSer.
Yep.
When I approached guys, what happened on the floor was you could see a lot of the smaller banks start to shut down and outsource the business. And I told these guys, I think the rest of the big banks are going to shut down. They want all the fixed expenses off their books.
Yep.
They'd rather pay out the variable expense
to brokerage fees,
get the 401k,
have you guys
insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, I started with these guys in November. Morgan Stanley shut down the following February.
Mm-hmm.
Citigroup had a big layoff. I was great friends with Dave Miller, who ran Citi.
So you guys just became their vendor.
Yeah, but then UBS Payne Weber shut down, and Bill Ellington ran Payne Weber.
And he came over and worked for you guys, didn't he?
Yeah, and became a partner, and we just kind of piecemealed everything from there on. But within 2 years, we were
largest on the floor.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
crazy good story. Yeah, very cool story.
Yeah.
And then, during your career, you had a wife, your lovely wife. What's her name?
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay. And you have how many children?
Four kids. Yeah. Brian, Kev, Kathleen, and Megan all went to Fenwick.
They did.
Yeah.
I remember Megan was behind me. Kevin's my class.
Yeah.
Kathleen's behind me. But I do remember in high school, Kevin was pretty worried. His younger sister, Kathleen, had cancer.
Yeah. Kathleen had great athlete in her own right. And she had gone in for her 8th grade physical, and her doctor noticed a little bump coming out from her back and said, I want to have somebody else take a look at it. We go down, Mary Kay and I could take her down to Children's on a Monday, and the surgeon comes in and says, I'm sure it's nothing, probably just a little fatty tissue.
Yeah.
We'll take it out. You'll be on your way in a couple hours. Well, it turned into like 6-7 hours. Surgeon comes out and said, we took a tumor the size of a grapefruit outside of her ribs. And she goes, I have no doubt it's cancer.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start chemo, radiation, like
now.
ASAP. So it was then that...
What do you do as a parent in that situation? You're in absolute shock.
My wife and I never even mentioned the word cancer at breakfast or even sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
We're just like, what's good?
That's a cyst
what's
or
taking
something.
along?
Yeah.
But out of bad things, good things happen.
Yeah.
And my cousin, Mr. Big's sister, Trissa, was great friends with the Shaker family.
Here in River Forest.
Yes.
Mr.
Shaker Sr. was one of the founding fathers of St. Jude with Danny Thomas.
Yes.
His two sons, Joe and Anthony, took up the dad's torch.
Correct.
Became chairman of the board of ALSAC, the fundraising arm. My cousin reached out to the Shakers, put us in touch with the, Kathleen had Ewing sarcoma, and put us in touch with the doctor who was the specialist at St. Jude.
And then even it comes back to the Bradys again because Annie Murray Brady, her own son, was helped by them much later. The Shakers are wonderful people.
Yes, great people. Just can't say enough about them. But the other positive that happened out of that was that Joseph Cardinal Bernardine was coming to St. Mary's in Riverside to say Mass like 2 weeks, I think, after Kathleen was diagnosed. And Father Gunderson was our pastor, and he called me and said, Pete, I want you to bring Kathleen and the family over before 10 o'clock Mass. I told Cardinal all about Kathleen. He wants to meet her.
Okay.
So I'm like,
wow.
Pretty cool to meet Cardinal Bernardine.
Sure.
He had his own battles.
Joe B. was a great cardinal.
Great man.
Yeah.
So during the night, Kathleen ran a fever. Mary Kay had to take her back down to Children's. And I called Father. I said, you know what? She's not here. He goes, Pete, come over. I want you to meet the Cardinal. I'm like, Father, I'm sure there's plenty of people that want to meet the Cardinal. He doesn't need to, waste time with me.
Was this Ken Velo that you were dealing with?
Well, no, Jerry Gunderson was the pastor.
Yeah.
I'll get to Father Velo in a minute. But,
good guy.
Oh, so anyway, I go down there, and Patty, it was like meeting your uncle you hadn't seen in years.
Yep.
He goes, Pete, I heard all about Kathleen. He goes, Father Velo and I, was father then.
Yeah.
He goes, we will be at Children's today at 5 o'clock to visit Kathleen.
Yep.
So we got a picture of Kathleen with the Cardinal.
Yeah.
We walk out of the hospital room. He gives me his phone number at the residence, the office, his cell phone.
Yep.
He goes, Pete, anytime you need me, you call me.
Wow.
Patty, we had an ongoing relationship with the man. He would call us one week. We'd call to check on him.
With Joe B?
No,
Cardinal. Yeah.
Cardinal.
Wow.
So the night before he's leaving for Rome to tell the Pope that he's terminal,
Yeah.
10 o'clock, Mary Kay and I are watching TV, and Catholic bishop comes up on caller ID.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, Joe's calling us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Cardinal, you're leaving for Rome tomorrow.
Yeah.
He goes, Pete, I had to check on Kathleen before I left to make sure she was okay.
Wow.
So after he passed, the procession was going down Madison Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathleen, I had to take her to Loyola to get some blood.
Mm-hmm.
And remember Andy Greeley, Father Greeley?
Yes.
So Andy grew up with my mom and dad in St. Angela.
Okay.
Andy and my dad had the same birthday.
Later, the pastor at Christ the King Parish, where my dad grew up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Andy's doing the commentary on Channel 5 during the procession.
Right.
And he starts, I think it was Marianne Ahern,
Yes.
says, Marianne, I got to tell you a story. One of the Cardinals' favorite people is a freshman at Fenwick.
No.
So Kathleen's sitting there at Loyola getting blood.
Watching?
All of a sudden she's like,
they're talking about me.
is he talking about me on TV?
Yeah.
And says, oh, Kathleen's grandfather, Roger Brown, all-state football player, one of my great friends.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. We kept an ongoing relationship with Ken Velo. But whenever he'd see me downtown, Patty, I'd see Ken running into. He would never say, "Oh, Pete, how you doing?" It's always like, "How's Kathleen doing?"
Yeah.
I need to know how Kathleen's doing. I'm like, once in a while, you can say, "Ken, how you doing, Pete?"
Yeah. Ken, when I was an altar boy
Yeah.
at St. Luke, and the Cardinal came to say Mass, and I campaigned to, I wanted that on my resume.
And you know where he started?
I don't.
His first tour was at St. Angela.
Okay. Did not.
But we had already moved out. We moved out in '66.
Yeah.
But Ken came shortly thereafter, so he started with Monsignor Cunningham at.
So I was in eighth grade, and the Cardinal saying Mass, and I'm in the sacristy, getting the chalice and everything ready, and Ken Velo comes in, and he was like Joe B's handler at the time, like his right hand guy.
Yep.
And he turns to me and he goes, "Hey, can you drive?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "I need you to pull the Cardinal's car around the corner over here." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
"You
yeah.
sure?" He's like, "You'll be all right."
That's a great story.
I was like, "All right."
Yeah, yeah.
I never forgot it.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys, so how does the admission process to St. Jude work? I mean, you were incredibly blessed and lucky to have that connection. Not every family gets something like that.
Yeah.
What happens after?
You have to get referred in by a doctor.
Yeah.
And the doctor will look at the case. In Kathleen's instance, we got, she just got her 30th anniversary of being cancer-free on the 28th
I saw her.
of
She's
August.
got a great career now. She works for Ernst & Young.
Yes, yeah.
Entrepreneur of the Year awards.
But when we talked to Dr. Pratt, who was a doctor at St. Jude, he's like, Pete, they're doing exactly what we'd be doing down here. We don't like to displace the families if we don't have to. So Kathleen went from August till November, and there was a couple of things that went sideways.
Yeah.
And that's when Cardinal had to come and give her the last rites one night when they didn't think she was going to make it.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he had tears in his eyes walking out of her room, Patty.
Yeah.
I mean, her blood pressure was like 69/20, fever of 104.
Yeah.
And he goes, Pete, if there's, I said to Mary Kay, I said, if she's going to make it, her guardian angel just walked out of this room.
Yeah.
And here she is
And
30 years later.
Wow. What
But she went to work for St. Jude.
I know that.
Yeah, did a lot of fundraising for St. Jude. The Shakers always wanted Kathleen to come
and be the brand ambassador and continue.
And she did it. But, she wanted something more. She started a cancer wellness business.
I do remember that was a couple of years. What was the name of Bodie?
Buddy.
Yeah.
But it was bad timing, Patty, because it was right at the height of COVID.
Right.
We got a fair amount of money raised.
Yeah.
But when push came to shove, because of her cancer and everything, she was leery about getting out in front of people to raise much more money, and I get it.
I completely get it.
But
she's thriving. She
gave it a
ass.
shot. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Now I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about how you got to know Bo Jackson.
Oh,
who is arguably the greatest. He's the Jim Thorpe of my generation.
Yeah. Friend of mine actually that we talked about.
And by the way, Jim Thorpe or Red Grange, Galloping Ghost, Warren Brown,
Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth.
Yep.
Warren Brown.
Wild.
Yeah. But anyway, good friend of mine, Chuck Connor, that we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
Chuck was involved in Bo's golf outing.
Okay.
On the south side.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me one day and said, Pete, you got your charities, Mulligan Ears, St. Jude.
Right.
Bo's got his Give Me a Chance Foundation.
Yes.
Maybe you guys can help each other.
Right.
So I gave Bo a call. I think it was in 2012 or 2013. We got to know each other. I was down in Florida, and he said, Pete, when you get back, let's get together, get to know each other. Tell me about your charities. So we struck up a friendship, and I got on the board of his foundation for 5-6 years.
Yeah,
and then he would give me, memorabilia, jerseys, helmets, whatever for my
to donate and raffle off.
Yeah. And then he started up the Jackson and Partners, the food business
with Larry Wirt, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got involved with that with them, and now Larry's the president and doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the chairman of the board. But we've got some pretty interesting people. Kevin Harrington, who was on the first season of Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Kevin's on our board. There's a
Mark Davis.
Well, him and Jerry Reinsdorf are on the
Fringe.
Yeah. Well, they're on they're show and tell. But I've never talked to either one of them.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, but we have another guy, Dick Brown.
Yeah.
Dick's a little bit older than me, but fascinating man.
Yeah.
His brother is the chairman of Motorola.
Mm-hmm.
Dick was the chairman of AT&T, and then he ran Ross Perot's company, Electronic Data Systems.
Ah.
And just nice man.
Yeah.
Dick's on our board. So it's kind of cool being able to reach out. I just talked to Kevin Harrington last week. I'm trying to put a thing together for Kevin to speak at the Security Traders Association downtown in January.
Yeah.
So Kevin's like, just let me know, Pete. I'd love to come and speak. But anyway, it's been cool to get to know these guys. But
absolutely,
one last Kevin story you'll like, Patty.
Harrington.
Yeah. So we're down golfing, me, Bo, Larry. So I'm riding with Kevin, and I'm like, "Oh, Kevin, where'd you grow up?" He goes, "Oh, I went to Catholic high school in Cincinnati." I said, "Oh, did you go to Moeller?"
Moeller?
No, not Moeller. They were a little bit too far.
St. Ed's?
So,
that's
I
Cleveland.
said, "Where'd you go to college?" He goes, "Oh, Pete, that's a sore subject." He goes, "College and me weren't real good friends."
Yeah.
My sister's a doctor. Other sister's a lawyer. My parents were not happy with me. I mean, Kevin's probably maybe worth $600-700 million.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I said, "You know what, Kevin?" I started smiling. He goes, "What?" I said, "Maybe if you stay with that college thing, you would have made something of yourself." He goes, "Pete, that's pretty good."
Yeah, that's a good guy to know for sure.
Yeah,
man of influence on the board there.
Yeah, and the godfather of the infomercial.
Yes.
He brought George Foreman Grill to market, the Ginzu knives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a good guy.
It's wild where life takes you.
It really is, Patty, when you think back.
Yeah. Tell me about the beginning of Mulligan Ears. You've been, how long have you been associated with the Mulligan Ears?
We've got our 32nd golf outing coming up Friday, the 19th of September out at Cog Hill.
Yeah.
And
anybody can go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we welcome. We get limited space on 2 and 4, but we take over 1 and 3. But we usually have 325 people out there golfing.
It's kind of got a reputation as being one of the better outings of the season.
Yeah, and it's just a great group of people. People know when they donate to Mulligan Ears, 92% of the dollar goes to the families, and it's all word of mouth. If you called me tomorrow and say, "Pete, I've got a family, very sad, daughter's got cancer," whatever.
Yeah.
It's friends helping friends.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of it. But we got involved right after Kathleen got diagnosed.
Okay.
Okay.
And who were the guys that were around?
The 4 founding members were Randy Ramsey, that played for Ray Meyer, DePaul.
Yeah.
Mike Zindrick, orthopedic surgeon from Hinsdale Orthopedic Group. Pat Byrne, that I went to Quincy with, and Bob Sheehy from the Sheehy Funeral Home.
Great guy, former sponsor of this show.
All 4 great guys.
Yep.
So they presented me and Mary Kay a check after the first golf outing.
God bless them.
And I've been involved ever since.
And now you've helped. You've been a part of some successful charities, working with Bo and Mulligan Ears, and obviously being a direct recipient of some.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the secret sauce is in charitable organizations moving forward and sort of grabbing the best that they can?
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, I think the important thing from where I stand is you've got to give the majority of the money to the families.
Sure.
You can't have a lot of administrative overhead.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people we pay in Mulliganeers are Julie Riley, who's our organizer, keeps the database, does all the mailings.
Yes.
And then whoever our accountant, auditor is.
Right.
But other than that, every one of us is volunteers.
And then maybe storytelling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that runs in the blood. Maybe that's what's made you so successful is your gift of gab and your ability to storytell.
Yeah, we're transitioning. The four main guys and myself, we're starting to transition out. So the younger generation, we'd actually had a call today.
Yeah.
We're hoping they can step up. And
The younger
running with
guys.
it. Yeah.
That's a call to action, guys like me and my
Exactly.
friends.
Yeah.
And your son Kevin and Brian. And,
We need new blood to come in and keep we've distributed over $8 million to family in our existence.
And some of our younger law enforcement and first responder guys listening should take that to heart.
Yeah.
And come get involved because it's a great organization.
Yeah. And then we have a St. Pat's party out at the operating engineer hall. You guys, the 130.
Yeah.
We've been with them every year. They're very kind and generous in donating the hall.
Yeah.
And just a great group of people. And it's a good, we have over 1,000 people that come to the St. Pat's party.
Where's that at? Where's that hall?
The operating engineer hall.
At the hall.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we have Maggie Speaks, who's pretty famous around the Chicago area. They come, they're the band. And Dave Calzaretta that started it.
Yeah.
Dave and I have become great friends. And he actually reached out to me the other day. He thinks he's got a family from the Chicago area that
you guys can help.
Might have to help. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great that there's
And Dave, whatever he makes the night of the party, he bids on the auction stuff like crazy. So he doesn't make a dime when he comes and works for us.
Were you starstruck when you first got to know Bo Jackson?
It was pretty cool. He had his second hip surgery.
Yeah.
So when I went out to the first golf outing, he and I just rode around in the golf cart.
And BS'd.
I mean, he introduced me to a lot of the people. And, I actually called my sons after I got done. I'm like, I can't believe I just rode around in a golf cart with Bo Jackson.
How long before you revealed to him that your grandfather was one of the most esteemed baseball writers
shortly
in history?
Thereafter, because it gets to a point. Bo is a great guy, but he's been taken advantage of.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that have screwed him in his career. He's very guarded, as he should be.
Yeah.
It took me a good couple of years
before he let his guard down and got to really know him.
And I finally said to him, I said, Bo, I've been around celebrities my whole life.
Yeah.
Because of Grandpa.
Yep.
I said, I'm with you because I believe in what you're trying to do in helping these kids get educated, get themselves into a better situation. I said, I don't give a damn who you are. I said, you and I can be friends. I can help you. You can help me, or we'll part ways. And he goes, no, Pete, I trust you. And now we talk all the time.
That's great.
Yeah. He's just.
Because Bo's done a lot of good for youth sports.
Behind the scenes, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does a lot that people don't know about.
I believe it.
Yeah. And he's just a very humble man. His daughter's getting married at Holy Name Cathedral this fall.
And they went to Fenwick.
Yeah.
Was that because you were whispering in his ear?
No, that was hardly. But his wife Linda's a sweetheart. I've been over to the house.
Yeah.
So he's getting all fired up. He's got 2 grandkids now, and he's in heaven with the grandkids.
Yeah. Bo has an affinity and love for veterans, which I enjoy highly about him.
Yeah.
And one of the products that I think I saw that you guys are selling is a meat product that Veteran Strong. Veteran Strong. What's Veteran Strong?
Well, it's our burger line that we're revamping a little bit.
Yeah.
But we would give X amount for every box sold to veterans groups.
That's great.
And we're relaunching. We came out with a hydration drink, Bo 3.0, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's a powder that you just put in a 16-ounce bottle of water, no sugar. Everything in there is good for you, but we're revamping it. We want to put some magnesium, some B6, B12. Larry is the brains behind. Larry Ward's the brains behind that.
Behind the drink, yeah.
So, Bo and Larry in collaboration with Carry Foods. So we're going to be. We're on Amazon right now.
Fine Irish brand, Carry Foods.
Yeah. So we're on Amazon right now, but then we're in the process of getting on Walmart and Target with the Bo 3.0.
Cool.
And to me, much better tasting than the competitors.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the names on air. I don't want to get in trouble.
We won't give them any hype.
But
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we're pretty excited about the new hydration drink.
When's that going to launch? Is there?
It's out.
It's
now,
out. Okay.
But we're just rebranding it. We're tweaking it a little bit to put the magnesium and B6 and B12 in there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you have any? What's the fondest memory you have of Warren growing up? I mean, you came here tonight. You showed me some fantastic pictures.
Yeah.
I'm looking at one right now of
So
your dad sitting on Lou Gehrig's lap.
it's my dad sitting on Lou Gehrig's lap with my two uncles, Uncle Bill and Uncle Peter.
What year do you think that picture was taken?
I'm pretty sure it's 1936.
All right.
And it was at Comiskey Park, because Grandpa was great friends with Gehrig and Ruth, and he would ride the trains with these guys, Patty, play cards
town to
with
town.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. And my dad, I remember always my dad saying that Grandpa was one of the only sports writers Ted Williams would talk to.
Really?
Because if you talked to Grandpa and it was off the record, it was off the record.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys, not so much back then, but now, you tell them one thing and it's all over social media within 5 minutes.
One of the cool stories that I liked a lot about your grandfather when I was doing a little research today is the letter that you shared with me between him and Gene Tunney.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, the Tunney Dempsey, obviously your grandfather's old pals with them.
Yeah.
His career comes full circle. Now he's going to recover them after knowing them in California early in his career.
Yeah.
Now they're on top of the game as boxers. They're going to fight each other for this. Was it the first fight or it was the second fight?
Yeah. 1927.
The legendary long count fight. And it was a letter from Tunney,
sort of. The first
letter telling Warren that he wouldn't sell him out to the press.
The first letter in October of 31, Gene Tunney was going to write an article for Collier's magazine.
Right.
And he wrote Grandpa a letter asking if he could use Grandpa's name for intervening on his behalf the night of the fight.
Right.
Tunney had gotten word that some of the fellas had the fight fixed. And he wasn't going to fight Dempsey in front of 106,000 people. I think they had at Soldier Field.
That would have cost a big problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if the fight was already fixed. So Tunney was good enough friends with Grandpa. He went to Grandpa and said, Warren, unless you go to the boxing commission,
I'm not
come
fighting.
back, give me your word. The referee and the judges are on the up and up. I'm not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the first letter I have kind of goes into that detail.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have Grandpa's letter back to Tunney.
Yeah.
But he must have said something to the effect, Gene, I don't want anybody finding out.
I want my name redacted from the story.
So I've got the second letter from Tunney, basically saying, Warren, I completely understand. I'll just say an unnamed Chicago newspaper man. Next time you're in town, get a hold of me at Vanderbilt 32121. And
well, I think what's fascinating about the story to me is the Chicago component of it, and people who aren't familiar with if you do some deductions in math, why Warren was so nervous about that was that this is the Capone era.
Exactly.
And he didn't want his name. If the fight had been fixed or something had gone down, he's messing with Al Capone's money. And that's a big problem.
That's a big problem back then.
And in so many words, it's interesting to watch the prose of how these guys write back and forth to each other to see that even they were smart enough in their time to dance around certain language and not say certain things, but say certain things.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I found that fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Digress for a second to my other grandfather, Tom Kelly, was the police captain in Chicago.
Yeah.
My mom was born February 15th, 1929.
Yeah.
Grandpa wasn't there at the hospital. He was working the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He was an investigator for that.
Wow.
So, yeah. But these two men would get together, at wherever house we were for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and nobody spoke a word. We just... everybody would just sit back, listen to these two men tell their stories. And it was always fascinating listening to the two of them.
Tell me a little bit about your career at Quincy. You were a player in your own right, a pretty good one.
Yeah, I had a pretty good career. I played at
6 foot. How tall are you?
5'11" now. I probably shrunk,
but you could dunk in high school.
Nobody could believe it, Patty. 6 foot white guy that could dunk a basketball. It was the highlight of the pregame show.
That's insane.
I got down to Quincy on a basketball scholarship. The coach, Dewey Calmer, He's like, Brown, these guys are all telling me you can dunk a basketball. He goes, I'm calling BS. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So he was just like blown away. But my first love was really baseball.
Yeah.
I played
and even Warren had been a baseball player.
first baseman, which I was at Fenwick.
Yeah.
I made the Catholic League All-Star team junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Both those years we played at Comiskey Park when they still had the AstroTurf.
Yeah.
So I got to play there 2 years. I tried out for the Cubs. I got invited to a Cubs tryout. But that was a reach to get to that.
That's going pretty far. I mean,
Yeah. I wound up switching from basketball. I played baseball down at Quincy and
Yep.
Dewey.
Which is a great baseball school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Dewey Calmer, who went on to become a great coach at Bradley, had Kirby Puckett at Bradley.
Yep.
Dewey and I became great friends. And,
Puckett went to Bradley after Triton?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But Coach and I still email back and forth, and he's still kicking. He lives down in the Villages, down in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Quincy. We all grow up at different times, Patty.
Yeah.
And we were wild and crazy. My buddies down there, our nickname was the Ballers. We had intramural football and basketball, and my buddies were all South Side, North Side guys from Chicago.
Yeah.
We all bonded together, drank beer our first weekend down there together. And,
Sure.
We had two separate softball teams. We figured after the first year, let's join forces here, and we became a powerhouse down there. But my Baller Nation, they're going to be listening, and so I told them I'd have to give a shout out to them.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Ballers.
Yeah, and then my Fenwick guys. We've got our 52nd annual golf outing this Saturday out at Willowcrest.
Fun.
Yeah, and all my Fenwick guys. 1967 we started hanging around, and just a great group of people. And that's what's important to me later on is, we all travel together, get-togethers for vacations.
Mm-hmm.
And the older you get, probably the more sentimental you get about,
Sure.
we're still here. We've had a number of guys we've lost along the way.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that. Like, how many siblings did you have growing up? You had your brother.
My brother Mike was a year and a half older than my brother Terry,
Yeah.
5 years younger. So Mike is still living out in the Chicago area. Terry's down in Dallas.
Oh, that's good. They're still here with us.
Yeah, working for a hedge fund.
Yeah.
Terry does. But
Yeah.
So no sisters, which my mother always said, thank you, Jesus. I had no girls
Yeah.
later on. I mean, she always wanted a girl, but then when she saw what trouble they can be and demanding,
Yeah.
she was always like, thank you, Jesus, not giving me any girls.
Now, when you were in high school at Fenwick, was Warren still working?
Yes. Yeah. He, when Chicago American got taken out by the Chicago Today,
Mm-hmm.
he gave it, I think, a year or two, Patty.
Yeah.
Just didn't get along with them.
The editors.
But
didn't
then
like
the guy that was the editor, I think John Kunster was his name, that was the editor of Baseball Digest.
it. Yeah.
Grandpa would write a monthly article for Baseball Digest for a couple of years. But he was still relatively active. But then he got, which we didn't know at the time, dementia, Alzheimer's.
Sure.
And he started losing it. But yeah, I mean, I could sit here and talk all night about Grandpa.
Well, because I grew up in the in the neighboring communities here, and I Google his name, and I just see that Forest Park is still claiming him.
Oh yeah, well,
as
he
the
passed
most
away there.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I thought he was from California, Forest Park. We hashed that out earlier in the program.
Yeah, but even when Rick Morrissey came,
and he did a great spread and interview.
Yeah, came over to the house one day, went through a lot of the pictures and letters, and I think Rick came over on a Thursday. He said, Pete, give me a couple weeks to put something together for the Sunday paper, for the Sun Times. He called me the next day, Pat. He's like, you had so much stuff.
Well,
I'll be ready to go this Sunday.
The stuff that you brought over is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anybody on the. I don't want anybody, looking for this stuff. But
yeah.
I'm sure the Baseball Hall of Fame would be interested in knowing that you have some of these.
I would think
items.
they would be.
And it's remarkable that you guys have them still and held on to them, and that you guys had the wherewithal and to keep that stuff in the family and hold on to it.
Yeah, well, when you look back at them, I mean, some of the letters are priceless.
Sure.
From Bing Crosby, George Halas, Frank Leahy.
Oh, absolutely.
A couple of the Four Horsemen.
Right.
Branch Rickey.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a whole, I've got 3 binders worth of letters and pictures. We haven't had a chance to go through, but...
Wasn't your grandfather, didn't he have dinner with Newt Rockney the night before the crash?
Correct. Yep. He was great friends. Wrote the first book on Rockney.
Yes.
After Coach passed, he had to get Mrs. Rockney's permission to do the book.
Wow.
But, and then at one point in the 40s when Notre Dame was struggling, before they brought in Frank Leahy, Grandpa was great friends with all the administrators, and the president of Notre Dame had approached Grandpa about taking over as the athletic director at Notre Dame.
Wow.
And Grandpa's 4 seats, Patty,
Yeah.
he was always up in the press box, but Grandma, we had 4 seats on the 50 with a parking pass right outside the main gate.
Sweet.
As long as Grandpa was alive, we
You were
got the
there?
tickets.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we always got to bring a buddy.
Yeah.
My buddies would go back, oh my God, I was just sitting at the 50-yard line, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So Grandpa passes, and our tickets were so good. Dan Devine was the coach then. Devine's family got our tickets.
I'm blaming Dan Devine.
But,
Man, Pete, I could talk to you for hours. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing these stories with us.
Thank you, Patty.
More importantly, how can our listeners get more involved in Mulligan-Ears?
Yeah, if you go to the Mulligan-Ears website, mulliganears.org, you can look on there. The golf outing is coming up on the 19th of September out at Cog Hill.
Mark the calendars. What day is that? Is it a Friday?
Always a Friday.
Perfect.
We're always the 3rd Friday in September out at Cog.
Yep.
And, if you want to make a donation, get a foursome, bring an auction item.
Yep.
Everything you need is on the website.
Absolutely.
And again, it's just a great group of people. And we're just friends helping families that need our help because of tragic situations that they've got.
That's what it's all about, Pete.
It's all about, Patty. You got that, brother.
Can't take it with you. You know what I mean?
No.
Got to do good in the hood. Get those points on earth here.
I need a lot of them, trust me.
Pete Brown, you're a hell of a guy. Thanks for being on the program.
Patty, thank you so much. Thank you, Hooley, Bill. Thank
Bill
you very
Wooten,
much,
our producer.
guys. Yep.
You're welcome. We'll be back with more Hibernian Radio after these.